Well met, fellow adventurers. On this chaotic evil episode, we're wandering the world of Warcraft. So sharpen your axes, stock up on your healing potions, and let's get cheating. Welcome to Cheat. I'm Kristen Holt, and today we're getting geeky with the online role-playing game World of Warcraft. Since this is a multiplayer game, we can't cheat in the classic up, up, down, down. Now you've got unlimited acid arrows. However, our crack team of game gurus have streamlined an approach to World of Warcraft that will have you defeating Earth Elementals while other gamers are still bludgeoning rats for 5 XP each. But before we get down and dirty, let's learn a little about how the World of Warcraft works. Greetings and welcome to Azeroth. Please keep your hands, claws, paws, and whatever else inside the car at all times. When they call this game massively multiplayer, they ain't kidding. We haven't seen one of our researchers in weeks. But if you're into the kind of game that has you seeing orc shamans at the supermarket, this is for you. Prepare to spend hours and hours improving your character, questing for experience, and mumbling about wands of lesser animal summoning to people at work. Let's start with the basics. The game features 2 factions, the Alliance, good guys, and the Horde, bad guys, depending on which side you're on, of course. Each faction contains 4 races. The Alliance has humans, night elves, gnomes, and dwarves. The Horde, orcs, trolls, undead, and taurens. No matter what race you choose, there are 8 classes: warriors, rogues, hunters, druids, priests, mages, and warlocks. There are also faction-specific classes. The Alliance has the Paladin, and the Horde, the Shaman. Although each of these classes have weaknesses, Paladins lack ranged weapons, and Shaman can't wear plated armor, they're both good choices for noobs who want balanced characters. Each race also has unique advantages. For example, the Night Elf Hunter has the highest starting agility and a dodge bonus. This is super important when an orc is chasing you around with a warhammer. Our sources say the best class for rookie players is the warrior. Warriors don't require too much fancy footwork, and they can take a beating, which, if you're just starting out, you most definitely will. Any race will work for a warrior character, except gnomes. Hey, I've got nothing against gnomes. Some of my best friends are gnomes, but their high intelligence just makes them better suited for non-fighter classes. Oh, and one final note for you first-timers. When you're in a major city with a lot of other player characters walking around, don't bug them with questions like, "Where's the tavern?" This will immediately expose you as a newbie, and you may get cursed out by some guy in Iceland who's only in town to buy healing potions for his level 60 dwarf pally. Instead, try asking a guard or other NPCs. They've got nothing but time, and they'll even put a marker on your map for you. Aren't computer-generated humanoids nice? Now go out there and make your faction proud. Okay, you've got your race, class, and faction. Now all you need is an adorable sidekick. Our spies got the goods on Warcraft's most precious pets. The dictionary defines obsession as a persistent, disturbing preoccupation with an often unreasonable idea. That's what finding rare pets is like in World of Warcraft. Luckily, our game gurus spent many hours figuring out exactly where you can find these elusive beasts without spending a fortune at the auction house. Anyone can buy protein-rich roaches in the Undercity or skinnable kitty cats in the Elwyn Forest. But getting a really great pet takes some effort. Lil Timmy, one of the game's best pet dealers, is difficult to find. Here's what we do know. Timmy doesn't spawn often, but when he does, he wanders the streets of Stormwind trying to sell his one and only white kitten. Since this animal costs 60 silvers but can be sold for 5 gold, this is an offer you can't refuse. Even we couldn't determine exactly when Timmy materializes, but we discovered that he spawns at the end of the canal between Old Town and the Trade District in Stormwind. You can camp at the bridge between the 2 districts and work on your fishing skills while you wait for him to come by. Once little Timmy appears, he wanders along the canal outside Old Town and Dwarven District. If you don't catch him before he passes through Cathedral Square and turns right, poof, he'll be gone. If you're vigilant enough to get the white kitten, head to the auction house to collect your profits. The next item on our mythical animal shopping list is the tiny crimson whelping. Unlike the white kitten, this beastie can't be bought and must be farmed from the game world. Your grinding begins in the eastern wetlands where you have to kill crimson, red, and flame-snorting whelps to find the drop. The drop rate of tiny crimson whelpings is about 1 in 1,000. Our guys got theirs in 30 minutes, but we found reports online of gamers farming for days before giving up. In the end, it all comes down to patience and dumb luck. If you're up for the grind, remember, these little guys are worth much more than their weight in gold. If you decide to sell your rare pet, he'll fetch about 40 gold pieces at auction. The wetlands isn't the only place to find these collectible whelpings. In the southwest corner of the Swamp of Sorrows, you'll find dreaming whelps. Farm these bad boys long enough, and eventually they'll drop a tiny emerald whelping. Unfortunately, this can take a long time, so get a supersized slushie and some extra cheesy poofs. Aw, those little whelpings are so cute. Too bad they have to grow up. After the break, we'll look at hidden quests. And if you're good, we'll do the chicken dance. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Cheat and our look at the wide world of Warcraft. I hope you have your boogie shoes on because one of the hidden quests in this game is going to have you shaking what your mama gave you. All right, come on, try it. It's fun. Finding quests is easy in World of Warcraft. Just look for the NPCs with huge exclamation points over their heads. But hidden amongst these run-of-the-mill quests are certain VIP, invitation-only adventures the designers didn't want everyone to know about. The first of these is what we like to call the Chicken Quest. Head to Saldine's farm in Westfall and find a chicken. To unlock the secret, you have to do the chicken dance in front of the chicken about 100 times. We found this was a lot easier when we set up a macro. Just bring up Options, select Macros, choose the icon you want, and enter the command. Then put the icon in an action bar and voila! Automatic chicken dance. When you've danced the night away, you'll see the message, Chicken looks at you quizzically. Maybe you should inspect it. Accept the quest and purchase the special chicken feed from Farmer Saldine. Return to the chicken and type /cheer before feeding the chicken.
Fantastic!
Do this right and the chicken will lay an egg. This egg is your new pet, a prairie chicken. Cool, huh? The second semi-secret quest is only available when you reach level 47. When you do, head to Ungoro Crater and in the marshlands you'll find a wrecked raft and a faded photograph. Remind anyone of an NES game? This find will initiate the quest It's a Secret to Everybody. All you vintage Zelda fans are probably freaking out right now because you recognize the quote from the original Legend of Zelda. There's even a Link counterpart in Marshall's Refuge, Lincoln, whom you'll be helping find his lost memories. This quest has you trekking all over Azeroth, completing a chain of 13 quests. Eventually, the trail will lead you back to Ungoro. The final part of the quest, It's Dangerous to Go Alone, is also a reference to the original Zelda. Geek-tastic, baby! There's another tribute to be found by beating Blaze Runner at Fire Plume Ridge. Of course, beating Blaze Runner, who's a level 56 elite, is no easy task. We whipped him by pairing up with a Pally and casting Fire Resistance Aura, then having another party member use the Silver Totem of Aqua Menace to take down Blaze Runner's protective fields. Once the big guy's down, pick up the Golden Flame in the back of the cave. Kinda looks like a piece of the Triforce, doesn't it? Return to Lincoln and Marshall's Refuge and claim your reward.
Good day to you.
Lincoln's Sword of Mastery and Lincoln's Boomerang. If you've found other hidden quests, let everyone else know by heading to our forum at g4tv.com/cheat. With Lincoln's Boomerang, the once rangeless paladin can now strike enemies from afar. Next, we'll go even deeper undercover to look at some of the Easter eggs our WoW commandos cracked. As you traverse Azeroth, you'll probably notice numerous references to movies, books, and people from the real world. Here are a few of the Easter eggs the Cheat Crew uncovered. In Booty Bay, just outside the inn, you'll encounter Chief Engineer Scooty, manning a teleportation device. If you have a quest that takes you through the device, you'll find a character named Sprock and his away team. Scooty? Sprock? Away team? Sounds pretty Trekkie to us. On your way to the Ironforge auction house, ask one of the guards the location of the alchemy trainer. One of his answers will be, "Why, oh why didn't I take the blue potion?" A reference to the Matrix. Why would he want to leave the world of Warcraft anyway? But then again, we spent like 6 hours trying to farm a tiny emerald whelping, so we can't criticize. There are references to books in Azeroth too. Apparently these guys like read or something. Anyway, in the upper levels of Booty Bay, there's a clothing shop named A Tailor to Cities, an homage to Charles Dickens' A Tale of Two Cities. And in the undead capital, the Undercity, you'll find Algernon at the alchemy trainers holding a flower. This is a nod to Daniel Keyes' novel, Flowers for Algernon. Further into the Undercity, in the War Quarter, there's an honest-to-God fight club. Of course, by sharing that information, we've already broken the first 2 rules of Fight Club.
You don't talk about Fight Club.
In there, you'll find 2 NPC fighters named Edward and Tyler. These names are inspired by Edward Norton, who played Jack in Fight Club, and Tyler, who was Jack's subconscious. Get that? Basically, they're the same person. It's deep, I know. Must be all that reading. Another movie reference can be found in the mage. You'll find 3 mages in training, talking shop. Hang around long enough, and one of them will say, "Wouldn't that be bad? Like crossing the streams bad?" I guess Ghostbusters was pretty popular in Azeroth too. In a touching note, the Blizzard designers also left a tribute to fallen comrade in World of Warcraft. In the Barrens, atop a hill just southwest of Crossroads, sits a small shrine. Here, you'll find a memorial dedicated to an orc with the initials MK. In the real world, MK was Michael Coiter, a Blizzard illustrator who passed away during production of World of Warcraft. To reach the memorial, follow a ridge to the southeast, and halfway up the hill you'll find the base of a mound. Go up the short trail to reach the shrine. As a little bonus, if you visit the memorial in spirit form, you'll find a spirit healer named Coiter. Nice touch, guys. It's really nice to see Blizzard immortalize one of its own. After the break, we'll introduce you to a gamer who dared to dream. It's a story of perseverance, dedication, and lots of free time. Welcome back to Cheat, the show with the +11 pickpocketing skill. If you cheat in World of Warcraft, Blizzard will ban your ass, so don't even think about it. While playing WoW, our research team encountered some incredible characters, but the little gnome you're about to meet takes the cake. Check it out. In the real world, your income pretty much determines what kind of ride you get. In World of Warcraft, it's all about class. Let's say, for example, you're a gnome. When you reach level 40, you're pretty much stuck riding a Meccano Strider, aka the robot chicken. Stuck, that is, unless you're a devoted little gnome named Miyaka playing on the Archimon server. Unwilling to accept her gnomey fate atop a chicken, Miyaka was able to accomplish the impossible, or nearly impossible, finagling an upgrade to a noble steed, which made all the other gnomes jealous. Here's how Miyaka pimped her ride. The planning starts on day 1, so waste no time. Complete as many Alliance faction quests as you can to boost your reputation. Hopefully by level 35, you'll be close to being revered in Stormwind and in Darnassus. When you are, head to the Swamps of Sorrow and start doing the Lost Supplies quest. This repeatable adventure has you acting as a delivery boy between the Swamp of Sorrows and the Netherguard Keep, and will up your rep in Stormwind. Doing this quest before it goes gray will net you 25 reputation points. Be patient though, because it'll take 1,000 deliveries. That's right, 1,000 deliveries before you attain Exalted status. You can walk into the dealership and ride out on a horse. Nice. Don't you just love that new horse smell? And if you think Miyaka's Odyssey ended in Stormwind, you got another thing coming. The persistent little gnome also achieved Exalted status in Darnassus and scored a Night Saber to cruise around on. This process is not for the lazy or for the sane. Miyaka did the repeatable Moral Grain to Darnassus and Moral Grain to Feathermoon quests by gathering 4,200 Moral Grains. Archimon server, and you encounter Miyaka, give her a congratulatory salute. The little gnome deserves it. Impressive, huh? Keeping our eye to the keyhole, let's peek in on some regions of Azeroth that game gods definitely don't want explored. The world of Warcraft is full of hidden areas that developers didn't want anyone to see. Of course, since we're a sneaky bunch, we're gonna show you a few. Walk through Ironforge in spirit form, and you'll find a neat secret area. Head to the high seat between the bank and the great forge where King Magni Bronzebeard hangs out. As soon as you enter, go left and downstairs. There isn't much to do here, but it's interesting to see what the developers had in mind when they were building Ironforge. Be careful in this secret area, though. Don't revive yourself or fall off the path. If you do, you'll get stuck and have to use the Unstuck feature. Many players flying from Ironforge to Menthil Harbor have expressed curiosity about the secret airbase they're flying over. Well, my curious friends, the cheat staff has found a way to hop the invisible walls that barricade this otherworldly Area 51. Again, I must warn you to use caution. This area is unfinished and extremely dangerous. Enter at your own risk. Start at the gates of Ironforge and head east, hugging the mountain cliffs. When you reach this point of the map, you'll find a small shelf on the side of the mountain. This is where you'll leap the invisible wall. Start going horizontally across the rocks until the midway point, then jump the rest of the way. As you jump across, point yourself up and race up the mountain. Done correctly, you'll lose a little health from the fall, but the maneuver should allow you to glitch your way into the secret area. There are 3 tourist attractions in this area. The first is the climb up the highest peak in the Eastern Kingdom. The second is the Dwarven Airfield, and the third is a tunnel that leads into the Great Void. To reach this tunnel, go north past the airstrip and down the mountain. It'll help if you can heal yourself because these falls are gonna leave a mark. Once you find the settlement, the tunnel is right there. Our mole got as far as the end of the tunnel, but his horse refused to continue. If you discover any additional secrets or hidden lands, let us know all about it by sending an email to cheat@g4tv.com and check our message boards at g/cheat to read about what others have found. I feel so sneaky. Now, don't go anywhere. We'll look at other sources of insider info, as if you need them, and I'll explain stripper elf etiquette again. Welcome back to Cheat and our inside guide to WoW. In a game world as expansive and nuanced as this one, we don't want to be there to hold your hand. So we decided to bookmark some helpful websites for you. The world of Warcraft is so massive, it's easy to get lost. So for all of you stuck wondering, where the hell is this mob I'm looking for? Or did I complete all the Sunken Temple quests? Here's a great website with all the answers. Thoughtbot.com has quest info, maps, and more. One handy listing details epic drops players have found throughout Azeroth. It's a worthy resource for your questing needs, but be aware that some of the language is rather salty. Next on our list of web-based cheats is wow.alakazam.com. This site provides information similar to Thoughtbot.com, but has a very good auction house database. Let's say you received an epic drop from a mob and wanted to know how much it was worth. Just enter the item in the search bar, and you'll see how much other people got for it. This will help you get the most of your goods and keep you from getting ripped off. Our last tip from the web involves a world map and will provide great relief to all the adventurers who've ever traveled halfway around the game world only to wind up in some strange town with nothing to do with their quest. The comprehensive map highlights all the major towns in World of War and also shows all the outbound flights for both the Alliance and Hordes. Check it out often, though. It'll save you a little silver and more than a few headaches. Next up are some tips for making an honest, or not so honest, living in World of Warcraft. Creating finished weapons and armor is not necessarily the best way to make money. In fact, especially at higher levels, the demand for raw materials is much higher. Even if you're not interested in blacksmithing or leatherworking, their secondary skills can be good moneymakers. Mining and skinning produce raw materials players need to up their skill levels. And finally, if you're ever in Ironforge and you see a female night elf dancing in her skivvies, don't disturb her. She's working, people! That's right, some entrepreneurial gamers have found that people will tip for good entertainment. Those websites can be found again on the Cheat website at g4tv.com/cheat. Next up, we'll continue our quest uncovering more hidden treasures. Since every day is Easter around here, we're gonna hunt up some more eggs. While fighting your way through the dead mines to get Van Cleef's head, you'll encounter a goblin shredder. Take it down and look at the dashboard. You'll see a familiar face. Kerrigan, the Zerg Queen from StarCraft Brood Wars.
I am the Queen of Blades.
She appears to be the ruler of the goblins as well. Other goblin shredders can be found in Stranglethorn Vale and Gadget Sand. In northern Ungoro Crater, there's a place we've started calling Camp Nintendo. Two residents of the camp are the feuding brothers, Larion and Muigi. If those names sound a bit familiar, they should. They're anagrams of Mario and Luigi, and the battling brothers are even decked out in red and green overalls. Deep in the Oldemon instance, you'll find a friendly refuge manned by 3 dwarves, Balog, Olaf, and Eric the Swift. Dedicated gamers should recognize these dudes from The Lost Vikings, the first game Blizzard created for the Super Nintendo back in '92. The dwarves were kidnapped by an alien race searching for life forms they could display as trophies. Fans will get a kick out of the shimmering flats. Peek around a bit and you'll find a goblin race team with a very familiar-looking vehicle, Blizzard's version of Sebulba's pod racer from Episode 1. Do a little more exploring and you'll also find a wrecked pod racer which smacked into canyon walls. For all you bloodthirsty barbarians out there, in the Badlands you can find a tip of the helmet to Conan. Around the middle of the map is a semi-hidden crypt. Enter the crypt and you'll see a decomposed guy sitting on the throne with a sword to his side. Look familiar? It's a scene from the Conan movies. And finally, here's a treat for the Evil Dead and Bruce Campbell set. In Dunmarogue, just south of Keranos, there's a small camp where a group of dwarves are taking target practice. Hang around long enough, and you'll hear one dwarf scream out,
"This is my boomstick!"
Well, I think that's enough for today. I hope you liked our guided tour. There's still a lot more to discover in this MMO. You can share what you found on our message board and revisit all the things we shared at g4tv.com/cheat. Also, if there's a game that's got you going gaga, let us know by email at cheat@g4tv.com. Thanks so much for tuning in, and until next time, I'm Kristen Holt, and I'm a level 93